Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I got another crazy current events video. This is where I cover these ridiculous stories and give my thoughts on it. But this is a story you guys probably heard me talking about on the GTA live stream on Sunday. But basically, what's going on is a man in North Korea, a North Korean factory worker, was detained by the government for writing an I love you letter to his girlfriend. He wrote in the letter, I love you, and all I think about is you. And apparently, that was by the North Korean government considered traitorous, American propaganda, and also promoting capitalism. And this is just the ridiculousness of North Korea. This is literally the most psychotic regime on the planet. And I will also link the article down below. And also, for people that don't have time to watch the whole video, the guy, he was temporarily detained. It seems like he wasn't killed or sent to a camp. It seems what happened to the guy is the guy was basically forced to apologize in public. So basically, he was forced to apologize. The government made him apologize in front of the factory to all the other workers that he's sorry for writing a letter to his girlfriend with I love you in it, and he apologizes for spreading American propaganda and all this stuff out. So it seems that the guy is okay, but it's still ridiculous that this happened, that he was detained for writing an I love you letter to his girlfriend and then forced to apologize for the whole thing. So I will link the article down below for you guys. This comes from Daily North Korea. And Daily North Korea, this is a site that I know they have insider information in North Korea. They have people that use illegal phones in North Korea with internet access to record things, send it to them. They have a lot of sources in it. I know this news station is based in Seoul, South Korea, and this comes from an anonymous source. So I know some people might question that, but because of all the ridiculous stuff that happens in North Korea, the psychotic stuff, I completely believe this story. I think this story is basically spot on. I think it's accurate. And also, this story has basically been out for, a couple weeks now, and the North Korean government has not responded to it. They have not denied it, which also gives me credibility to this story. But anyways, North Korea cracks down on I love you as a decadent expression. Young North Koreans routinely consume foreign entertainment, music, films, and TV shows from South Korea and China without much concern about the source. So about this is this in North Korea that there is smuggled in movies, like smuggled in American movies and South Korean movies and Chinese movies, and these movies are very tightly controlled in North Korea. They're illegal. If you get caught with one of these movies, even K-pop, you get caught with that stuff, you can actually be sent to prison for life, or you can actually even be sent to a work camp. Like I said, this is literally the most psychotic dictatorship on the planet, and sometimes I cannot believe that North Korea is a real country. A lot of times I cannot believe it because this is how psychotic the country is. Uh, but anyways, let's read the article. North Korea has stepped up crackdowns on young people's love letters, condemning the phrase "I love you" as a sign of a decadent lifestyle. What the hell? Officials from a factory socialist patriotic youth league in Hamhung discovered a love letter during a routine inspection on September 13 and turned it into an ideological issue, according to a Daily North Korea source in South Hamgyong province recently. They criticized the phrase "I love you," which was in the letter, and made a big deal of the matter, the source said Friday. The officials found the letter in a young person's bag while checking personal electronic devices after holding criticism sessions for league members. The letter contained romantic expressions like "I love you" and "the only thing I think of is you." Oh man, I cannot believe that they detained a person for this. And this is the horror of North Korea, is that in this country you have no privacy whatsoever. The government can come into your house, your apartment, anytime they want, search your stuff, they can search your personal belongings at work, and apparently I think what they got him on is, I think, the only thing I think of is you. And they're probably saying, oh, you should be thinking about the leader, you should be thinking about the Workers' Party, you should be thinking about the country. And they're probably accusing him of being selfish, an individualist, a capitalist, by writing stuff like this in the letter. And I wasn't able to find out if he wrote this in Korean or if he wrote this in English. I suspect that he probably wrote this in Korean. That's probably what I think, because if he wrote this in English, this would have been way worse for him. The deputy headed the factory's Socialist Patriotic Youth League committee called the letter evidence of a decadent lifestyle imbued with capitalist views of love and immediately organized an ideological struggle. Decadent lifestyle imbued with capitalist views of love. What the hell is a capitalist view of love? What the hell does that even mean? During the session, the letter writer was condemned for his rotten spirit and forced to publicly criticize himself in front of fellow members. Lovers often say "I like you," but use "I love you" less frequently. the source explained. So you're apparently supposed to say "I like you" to your spouse, in your girlfriend and boyfriend in North Korea. You apparently can't say "I love you." All he did was write down feelings he couldn't express out loud, but officials turned it into a major issue. Other league members watched the struggle session with disgust, like they were chewing rotten cucumbers. So apparently, this source apparently was probably one of the people inside the factory. Targeting foreign influence. Young North Koreans routinely consume foreign entertainment, music, films, and TV shows from South Korea and China without much concern about the source. Authorities view this as violations of the Reactionary Ideology and Culture Rejection Act and Youth Education Guarantee Act. Officials have ordered youth organizations to conduct surprise inspections of electronic devices to catch consumption of foreign content. The love letter was discovered during one such inspection, where a simple expression of affection became an ideological problem. Oh my god. And I will say about this, in North Korea, the elites do have smartphones. So in a city like Pyongyang, for example, that's the capital, some people do have smartphones, but it's North Korea's brand of smartphone. And yes, North Korea did make their own version of a smartphone. But North Korea's version of a smartphone, the only thing that you can do on it is you can call and take pictures. There is no internet access on those smartphones. They do have a few apps, I know, like a calculator, for example, and they're able to check the weather, but they're largely not able to really surf the web. They're not able to do stuff like that. Young people have various ways to avoid detection, but they can't escape surprise inspections by their organizations, the source said. The league made a big deal out of this incident to intimidate young people and suppress even their personal feelings. News of the struggle session spread quickly, sparking public criticism mixed with sarcasm. People called it absurd, saying things like, if I love you is decadent, then the entire world is decadent, the source said. Most couldn't understand why authorities would crack down on private emotional expressions. And I will say, this garbage like this, like stuff like this is why people don't want to visit North Korea. This is why. And yes, people do visit North Korea. I know there are, people that visit North Korea at times. Americans are largely banned from the country, but other foreign tourists from certain countries are welcomed in. Like I know they've welcomed in Russian tourists. But this is precisely the reason on why people do not want to visit North Korea. Because of stuff like this. Literally is somebody getting detained and then forced to apologize in front of the entire factory and shamed for saying, I love you, and accused of promoting American propaganda and capitalism because he wrote I love you to his girlfriend. And how is I love you a capitalist saying? I don't even understand that. What the hell? Like, and I will say about this also, let me show you guys this. This is from the AP News. I'll link this also down below. But North Korea, what they've done is they've actually built a resort. So they spent like a couple years building a resort, and they actually finally finished it last June, and they opened it in July. And what they did in this resort is the only people allowed to visit this resort were North Koreans and Russians. And when they welcomed Russians in, what happened was there was a Russian reporter who actually wrote an article in which he said that everything felt fake, and he said he felt that that people were being followed, they didn't have privacy. I'll also pull up that article of what that Russian reporter said. But apparently after what that Russian reporter said, now apparently they've closed it to all tourists. So apparently the only people allowed there are North Koreans. And for a country like North Korea that is basically so broke and such a poor country, you think they would be desperate to attract tourism. You think they would be desperate to bring in tourists to basically make some extra money. But when they do crap like this is why nobody wants to visit your psycho country. This is exactly the reason why. Because of crap like this. And this is, Kim Jong-un, the dictator. This is also his daughter right here. And he's basically grooming his daughter to be the next leader. 김정은 동지께서 This also is the North Korean state propaganda. This is, what they oftentimes talk like in, and there's this old lady, she's been the same, broadcaster for decades, and she always, and I've seen her talk with subtitles, and it's always, the same BS. She always says, our great leader, Kim Jong-un is doing this, our great leader cares about the workers, our great leader this, our great leader that. That's basically how their propaganda talks a lot of times. So this is their, resort.
세상에서 가장 문명한 문화 휴식토를 마련해 주 오늘로 솟아오른 원산 갈마해안 관광지구는 인민의 복리 증진과 리상 실현을 위하여 건설 사업이 성과적으로 결속되고 준공을 선포함으로써 우리 인민들의 문화 생활을 더욱 향상시킬 수 있는 또 하나의 훌륭한 조건이 마련되게 되었으며 자기 활동의 모든 것을 다해서 관광 산업은 문화 분야의 개화 발전을 촉진하는 것과 함께 해당 지역의 진흥을 추동하고 국가의 전반적인 경제 장성에 이바지하는 동력으로서 커다란 전망적 의의를 가진다고 하시면서 우리시 관광업을 대대적으로 확대 발전시키는 데서 나서는 중요한 방향을 제시하셨습니다. 끊임없이 개척해 나가는 우리 당의 인민에 대한 숭고한 사랑과 끝없는 창조의 리상에 안아 올린 동의 명승.
That woman on the left is actually his sister. Yeah, this is what I gotta say about North Korea. It's such a psycho country. It's like, and the government is just so tight. The government controls people's lives so tightly. There's no internet access. People are not allowed to leave the country. They only have one, channel, which is the propaganda TV channel. And then, after it's over for the day, the TV is basically just black. You can't even watch anything on the TV. And it's just everything just feels so fake in the country. Like, you just wonder how much of this stuff is actually real, how much of these people are actually actors. But this is the reason on why nobody wants to visit your psycho country, is when you do crap like this, like arresting somebody and detaining them and then forcing them to publicly shame themselves and apologize for writing an "I love you" letter to his girlfriend. And the thing about that is that girl, chances are that girl is probably going to want to break up with him. And the reason that she's probably going to want to break up with him is because she's going to be scared that he's going to be watched now more closely because of that. And so she probably is scared that she's going to get watched now. And so she's going to end up breaking up with him. That's probably what I'm assuming is going to happen. But it's just such a psycho country. And it's like I said, is I cannot, a lot of times when I watch crap like this and I read crap like this about North Korea, like the psycho, insane things I read about this country, I cannot believe that this country is real. Like, I honestly feel like it's like a dictatorship from a Just Cause game, because in the Just Cause games, the dictators are always such psycho and just, it's just such crazy ridiculousness. But I cannot believe that this is a real country a lot of times too, because it's just a psycho stuff that they do. And also, this is the part I was talking about, that Russian journalist. So, what was it? Experts say North Korea likely decided to halt foreigner travels to the zone because of a newspaper article by a Russian reporter who traveled with Lavrov that implied North Koreans at the zone appeared to be mobilized by authorities and not real tourists. So they're actors. The people that you see in a lot of this propaganda where they're happy, they're actors. The North Korean government is believed to have determined that it would face some negative consequences when it opened the site to foreigners, said Oh Seob, an analyst at South Korea's Institute for National Reunification. Oh said the ban would include Russians, but the North Korea-focused NK News website, citing tour groups specializing in North Korea trips, said Russians likely won't be targeted. Analyst Lee Sang-kun of Seoul's Institute of National Security Strategy said the ban could be associated with difficulties in recruiting Russian tourists because many would consider North Korea too far away and the trip too expensive. And if they even open that resort to tourists, my question is, how much would can an average North Korean even afford to stay there? Could they even? So that's basically what I'll say about it, is you would think that a country that is basically so poor, a country that is just in absolute poverty, you would think a country like this would be trying to attract tourists. But literally, when they do stuff like this, when people see stuff like this, and then they open up a new resort, and then they ban all tourists, apparently, because a reporter wrote a negative article about their resort, it shows North Korea can't handle criticism. They can't handle criticism. And so now, what was the point of building that resort? Is it going to generate your country any kind of money whatsoever? And I wonder how much of that resort is actually real. Are the buildings actually real, or are they, are the buildings just outside, they look nice, but inside there's absolutely nothing inside them? So this is why people don't want to visit your psycho country, because there's stuff like this. I cannot believe it's a real place. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do drop a like. And let me know what you think down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.